This is Jason Jones coming to you from Erbil in Kurdistan, and I'm with my friend Dr. Ghafouri.
Hi, everybody.
She's Swedish. She's a doctor. She's a humanitarian. And as a Swede, as a doctor, and as a humanitarian, I know you must love Barack Obama.
I love him so much that I really want to try to start a campaign to take back the Nobel Prize from him.
What?
That much I love.
Oh, if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have interviewed you. I thought you
Really?
loved my president.
Yeah, because of this, when he started, there was only 3 or 4 war. When he finished, he was already involved in 8 wars. So he got the prize to start wars and to, deepen already existing conflicts and war even more.
So the Nobel Prize committee said they gave him the prize not for what he did, but what he was going to do. And you have a graph, I think, here. Let's look at the graph.
It's from UCDP, Uppsala Conflict Data Program, that they have looked at all the conflicts from the world since 1975 till 2015.
I'm not a cameraman. Okay, let's show it here.
Yeah.
I want to make sure they can see it. Okay.
It's a good page, actually. Go and look at it and you will see it.
What's the web page?
It's UCDP.
UCDP. I'm sorry.
.uu.
UCDP.uu.se. Sweden.
Yeah.
So if this is coming from the Swedes, I thought that you guys loved Barack Hussein Obama.
That's what I told you, why we love him, because we love him to get back our Nobel Prize from him.
We're going to get back his Nobel Prize.
Yeah, and it will be so historical, the first ever Nobel Prize that was given wrongly and could be taken back. Actually, even last year, I started to saying that, and I just don't understand why on earth he allowed ISIS to, destroy so many places, both in Iraq side and in Syrian side. Many times you could just hear the aircrafts, when, for example, in Kobani, when the ISIS were far away, they were not bombing them. They start bombing when they came inside Kobani. So why on earth, when they are in surrounding city and you can see them?
So they didn't bomb ISIS until ISIS was in the city.
Another thing.
So they helped destroy the city.
Yeah. Another thing, why on earth, when the Paris bombing happened, within less than 24 hours, they could identify where was the headquarters of ISIS, where were the ammunitions storage, and where their place of training, and bomb all of them. So why they could not do it before? They could not get those information within less than 24 hours.
So after a concert was bombed, we were swift in our action.
Yeah.
But when the Yazidis and Christians were being slaughtered,
they didn't care. Like our survivor Shirin that was saying when she was talking. What would have happened if Obama's daughter were taken by ISIS? Why was such a big difference between her sisters?
So I'm here with Dr. Ghafouri, and she's talking about there's a Yazidi girl who was captured by ISIS. She pretended to be deaf and mute.
Yes, for 10 months.
So she wouldn't be raped.
Yeah.
And when you were with her, she said to you, say that again.
Yeah, I have it actually recorded.
I'll post it under here. I'll post the link.
Yeah. She's always saying she wants to ask directly, and she is begging me several times actually before, please take me to Obama to ask him what would he would have done if it was his daughters that was captured by ISIS. Would have been so reluctant and ignorant as he was towards the Yazidi girls. And don't forget, still today that we are talking about, there are more than 3,000 of Yazidi girls and children in the hands of ISIS. And they are selling young children on and on because they want to invest for their future, invest for their life after. And we don't know what happened to them. We have recently heard that there are some children that have been sold to some Turkish ISIS family in Turkey, and they are not giving back. And Operation Mosul has started for several months ago. Till now, nobody has spoken about any Yazidi who was, captured by ISIS. There have not been any news, any liberation, nothing. And nobody cares. Nobody mentions how on earth, when was it Operation Mosul started? October or something like that. Till now, we haven't heard a word about Yazidis or preparation to try to capture or find them and liberate them. Why? Because they are Yazidis and they are not Arab. And actually, we are fed up with an American policy that is so pro-Arabic and ignoring the minorities,
the minorities
and other people.
I would hope that the United States had a foreign policy to put the weak first.
Yes.
That we had a preferential option in our foreign policy for vulnerable communities, not for the majority communities.
Indeed.
Aid is being delivered to Baghdad.
Exactly, and the catastrophe is in Kurdistan.
And the Kurds, God bless the Kurds, they're the ones, Muslim Kurds predominantly, are the ones protecting Christians, protecting the Yazidis, fighting and bleeding, carrying old Soviet weapons, while ISIS carries American weapons, drives American Humvees, drives American armored vehicles, fires American 7.62 ammunition out of their heavy machine guns and 50 caliber machine guns. And when I was in college in the 90s, I wrote an article, the first article I ever published, condemning the United States because Turkey was flying American-made planes, dropping American-made bombs on Kurds. And the Kurds love us. I really can't understand. They love us. There's a saying in Kurdistan that the Kurds have only one friend, and that's the mountains. But the Kurds are our friends. They've been great friends to us. And I will say I'm very hopeful with President Trump. We have 1 week left with B. Hussein Obama.
And 1 week left to try, the final try to take back the Nobel Prize. I really wish
so my friend Paul Darrow said, bring her to Trump. That is something we really want to do, and bring this young Yazidi girl.
Oh yeah, definitely. We
will
be there.
Dr. Ghafouri, by the way, she goes to Sweden where she works as a doctor. She makes as much money as she can, and then you come here and live and work till you're broke. And then you go back.
I've been doing this back and forth for 2.5 years, and actually you can see our work in Facebook, Joint Help for Kurdistan, where you can update yourself what's going on with the Yazidis and how they have been ignored, and we have been trying actually to be a voice for them. And that's why together with our joint friends, Richard, Jennifer, Matthew, Jimmy, and Stan and Kevin, we have made a movie, The Longest Road movie, that now is going to have premiere in Europe. We have already screened it in California and Texas, and we are hoping soon screen it in Washington too. So follow us and be a voice for Yazidis and minorities.
Dr. Ghafouri just recently was in ISIS-held territory. She's been on the front lines time and time again. And can I show them everyone what I gave you? I want to show them and tell them why I gave this to you. Not the book.
Not the book.
I gave her The Race to Save Our Century at fine bookstores everywhere. I gave her a St. Damien icon and a Mother Mary Ann prayer card because St. Damien, of course, lived and died with those who suffered the vulnerable lepers and made himself vulnerable and to the point of actually dying. And Mother Mary Ann, by the grace of God, never got sick but lived in Kalapapa with the lepers. You have made yourself very vulnerable. You are, in my mind, you've already died. Because I've seen you on video, your courage is amazing. I think what you have done, the only way when I see your courage is that you must have already said, I'm dead already, and I'm just going to do my job from here on out. Because it's your peace and your calm on the front lines of the monsters of the world. It's like World War III. When I go around and I talk to Yazidis and others, I feel like I'm in World War II and I'm in Stalingrad, or I'm in some sort of future dystopian story. I met a Yazidi man yesterday who was guarding me, and we were talking, and I'd asked how close ISIS was, and he pointed, and then he broke down crying and shared the story of how he was knocked unconscious and they thought he was dead, and right in front of him his wife and daughter were raped and murdered. And you don't hear stories like that. It's heartbreaking. You've lived it. You've seen it.
It's even worse. You know, we have had a few kids recently. We brought them back, actually. And they have been changed their name, and they cannot speak Kurdish. They're speaking Arabic.
You can set
and
these down.
Okay, sorry.
We're not selling them.
No, but they're so beautiful. And many women and children who have been kept in basement for over 1.5 years. We have kids that coming back to the camp. They cannot open their eyes because of the sun, because they have been in dark, in basement. And I show you later the video of a boy, only 9 years old, how he has been trained for military. Women who have been raped, and and they were not washing themselves for weeks and even months, because the day that they were washing themselves and taking shower, they have been raped by 5-10 men. And this has been a protective way just to smell as bad as possible. So the stories are really, 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 really too horrible to believe. Mothers who have left their babies because it was ISIS baby, and they were get pregnant there, and now between several trauma of being abducted, trauma of being raped, tortured, and above everything, trauma of feeling a mother who have left only a child being born 1 month ago, 2 months ago, and the feeling is there.
Okay,
and there
Karen,
is no support,
Karen,
no help for
Karen
them.
Dean, a friend of mine, just asked how she can help, and I'm going to put a link on how you can help Dr. Ghafouri. And I want to share something about aid. So I went to a camp 2 days ago, and obviously I stick out, and people were looking at me, the children and others were looking at me, and I felt ashamed. I thought, they're looking at me, oh, here comes another American, another voyeur, to look at us and our suffering and do nothing. And what's he going to do? Just look. And then when I talked to the director of the camp, he said, no, you're the first American we've ever seen. I said, no one from the consulate? No one from USAID? No. He said, well, actually, this week they've sent 2 people asking what we need, because they're preparing to cover themselves with the new administration. So then I asked Dr. Ghafouri, I must have been at some wrong camps. USAID and the State Department and our consulate, they must be visiting camps all over the country, and the camps I visited, there must have been a mistake.
No, it's not a mistake. Most probably it's just, through government to government, and it has been to Baghdad. And Baghdad is not supporting refugees. And
how many refugees are in Kurdistan right now? It's like 30% of the population now is refugees.
I think it's more. I know exactly about the Dohuk area. The Dohuk area, it's 1.2 population itself, but it's already 1 million refugees and IDPs.
So the Kurds are fighting an existential war, a war for their very existence, a war that if they lose, they're wiped off the face of the earth. And while they're fighting an existential war with old Soviet weapons, fighting ISIS that has the best weapons in the world, they have our weapons, right?
And you guys supporting Turkey and, ISIS to kill.
Well, Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard has come outright and said that the United States under Obama and Clinton and John Brennan has been supporting ISIS. So, I pray to God that cannot possibly be true. But if at least it's not their active will, it is their permissive will. There's no denying that they have, they've permitted it.
By denying it, the problem will be even bigger. By accepting it, at least you can stop it and change it and go another direction. That's the most important things. What has been done. But from now on, we need changes. We need to be, U.S. need to be the weak one, not only with the central governments who are really, look at Turkey. They have been supporting Turkey for ages now, And at the same time, Turkey has been betraying U.S. time and time and time. And Kurds has been with U.S. all the time. But the Kurds have been killed, and Turkish have been given more and more weapon and power.
And the weapons are where? Where are the weapons manufactured?
In U.S.
And the bombs?
Yes.
Yeah.
And, US and Germany.
And ISIS is, what's breaking my heart is ISIS is carrying the same weapons I carried as a soldier, the same weapons my brother carried in Baghdad, the same weapons my son operates. They're in the hands of ISIS. The Kurds don't even have artillery. So while you're fighting an existential war, a war for your very existence, you are caring for Arabs and Yazidis and Chaldeans and Assyrians and Zoroastrians and Sabaeans and Baha'i, and you're caring for all these people.
You have been into Ankawa, yeah?
Yes.
I think Ankawa, here in Hawler, we call Erbil Hawler in Kurdish, has been the only place in the entire world where a government, which is the Kurdish government, has made by law that no non-Christians are allowed to buy land, to buy house, to rent.
They are allowed, you mean? Correct it.
No, non-Christians are not allowed.
Yes.
Only Christians.
Yes, so they have, the Kurds have a place here, the Muslim majority have carved out for Christians, and the Christians are allowed to rent it to Muslims.
This is only for Christians.
But they can only own it. Yeah, they have to.
Muslims cannot even go and rent.
Okay, I thought they could rent.
They are very, very exceptional, cases that there are one or two in entire Ankawa area. But by law, they are not allowed.
So they're preserving, I've been really impressed.
Yeah.
And listen, they're not liberal, progressive Unitarians from Massachusetts. They have their own culture, their own traditions. They take their religion and their culture seriously, but they are fighting an existential war
for everybody.
And they're bearing this huge burden of caring for refugees, refugees created by Obama fleeing Iraq.
Yes.
We are not giving them aid. They're not allowed to have artillery.
No.
We're using airstrikes, and how's that working?
Yeah. And I have another question. I have also several times, it's not because of today's situation, but I have put it several times on my Facebook. Obama had meeting once with Maliki and twice with Abadi. After each time, 2 weeks later, the Iraqi army will run away and leave all the weapons behind for ISIS. And I was always wondering, why on earth? Why? How come? Once coincidence, twice coincidence, 3 times coincidence. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. The social justice warriors in the United States, I'm a Catholic Christian. There's a large segment of the Catholic Christian world of writers and bloggers who are going on and on and on about transgender bathrooms or saving Obamacare for affluent or middle class white people with college degrees, that they want subsidized health care. Meanwhile, they don't talk about the plight of Yazidis, Chaldeans, Assyrians. It's the social justice warriors are talking about transgender. But how do you feel when you hear in the States, like, the big human rights debate is over how many bathrooms there should be or who gets to use what bathroom, when there are whole populations being sold into sex slavery?
I wish to take those people to my camp, for example, Bajet Kandala, that now, even after 2.5 years being in the camp, there are not still enough bathroom and toilets for people to go. And during winter time, the elderly, they are really feeling ashamed. During summertime, the young and the men were going outside the camp in the field, because the camp is in nowhere. It's in an empty space, So they would go there and do their needs. But during winter time, everybody is using. Imagine to have 27 people per one toilet. And the elderly, they are feeling ashamed, especially women, to go in front of everybody, because you have 4 tents to share one toilet, 6 tents to share one toilet. So you have to pass in front of the others.
So how decadent are we? How much ink has been spilled? How much cable news time has been spent jibber-jabbering over nonsense about bathrooms?
Yeah.
And
they are not interested to come and show the situation in reality for people who are really, really suffering, and they don't have any voices.
There are a billion Christians in the world. How in Kurdistan? What is the population of Kurdistan right now?
In Iraqi Kurdistan, is around 6 million, 6 million.
Yeah. The billion Christians in the world, if it was our will to live in solidarity with the people of Kurdistan, we could provide them all the aid that they need. Yeah. But do you see large aid coming in to help in the camps from Christian organizations?
Some Christian organizations, yes, but not many of them. And initially there were many Christians who were coming and thinking that giving a Bible after having given them support, you know. But there are some Christian in other camp, not in my camp, but
well, I'm proud to hear that we do see NGOs, yeah, but we don't see our own USAID.
No.
So, but we could be, and we should be doing more.
Indeed, indeed.
And I'm hopeful.
Me too. Me too.
With President Trump, that we do have a foreign policy that puts vulnerable communities first and foremost.
And it will be possible if he stops wrongdoing. I mean, you should not continue with wrongdoing. You should stop killing of innocent people. How? Stop Turkey to kill the Kurds. How? Stop ISIS to become stronger. Don't give them any more.
Sorry, guys.
Don't give them any more weapon in whatever name, under whatever cover that they have been receiving. Then it will be changed.
Well, I just want to thank you for your example. You're a real. This guy is a real hero.
And
like a
he too.
Superhero. Like you are like Mother Mary Ann Cope. You are like Saint Damien. You are like Saint Maximin Kolbe. Except you're gonna stay safe because we don't need you on a prayer card.
No, I don't need that.
We don't need her on a prayer card. And not until you're a very, very old lady and you die in your sleep in like 104.
Oh, I don't want to be old. That's just enough.
Enough of this morbid talk, you know, when you're in these places.
Life is better.
No, that's not true.
That's true.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Ghafouri is going to go on, and she's going to put a link on how you can support her underneath here, and The Longest Road Home, and follow the movie and how you can support the film.
Yes, please.
All right. Aloha, guys. God bless.
Bye.
Okay, I don't know how to shut this off. It's always a thing for me. Okay, I'm just going to do this.